Hello, I'm Mayor Phil Good with your weekly update. Happy New Year. As we enter this new year, I believe that the City of Prescott will have a dynamic and productive year ahead. This is thanks in part to the passage of Proposition 478 last November, which has set our public safety agencies up for long-term success and will lead to improved response times for emergency calls. We can now move forward this year to plan for these new facilities, equipment, and staffing. In December, Council set forth 3 key goals for the coming years, which include building 2 new fire stations, addressing workforce housing, and expanding current businesses while bringing new businesses to Prescott through targeted economic development efforts. Achieving these goals will help make Prescott safer for all citizens, more accessible for working families, and more economically resilient. The Zone 52 water main extension project begins this week. The project consists of installing a new water main from the intersection of Pioneer Parkway and Williamson Valley Road to Bowie Drive South. In addition to installing over 1 mile of new water main pipe, the project includes constructing water infrastructure and the demolition of the existing 100,000-gallon Longview water storage tank and the Longview booster pump station in the Longview Estates subdivision off Bowie Drive South. This project is scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2025 and is being undertaken to improve the city's water infrastructure to meet current and future demands. Work may occur Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. The majority of this project takes place outside of the roadways. However, please be aware of reduced speeds, loud noise, flagging operations, and lane restrictions throughout the work zones. The city will work with a contractor to ensure continuous water service to all properties over the duration of the project. However, brief water shutoffs may be required to tie into the city's existing system. Those affected will be notified in advance of any temporary utility interruption. We're dedicated to keeping the community informed of potential construction impacts throughout the project. In an effort to improve wildlife habitat, reduced wildfire fuel loads, and reduce negative watershed impacts, the City of Prescott's Forestry crew is engaged in the removal of several invasive tree species from the Willow Lake area. This project is being funded through a grant from the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management, as the condition of Willow Lake has been identified as being an extreme high risk. This 164-acre treatment project will involve the removal of salt cedar, also known as tamarisk, tree of heaven called ailanthus, and Siberian elm or ulmus. Our forestry crew is being very intentional in this project. Trees will be removed by hand thinning, chipping, and hauling. No herbicide will be used in this project due to potential watershed exposure. Project work will only be permitted in the months of November through the end of February to reduce the impacts on breeding bird populations. For the safety of both the working crew and recreational users, we ask you to please avoid the forestry crew's work areas. The Willow Lake Preserve's trails will remain largely open for the duration of the work. Warning signage will be in place in areas where the crew is operating. Additional information regarding the project will be available on trail billboards. Speaking of trees, we've received many comments and concerns regarding our iconic American Revolution oak tree on South Cortez Street. I can assure you that the preservation of this tree during the redevelopment of the old City Hall property has been a condition required of the developers. A city arborist has been assigned to work with the developer builder to protect and preserve the tree during and after the construction and completion of the new hotel building. As a side note, did you know that there are over 950 miles of trails in the Prescott National Forest? Which means opportunities for all outdoor enthusiasts. But please note that the fire danger is high all across Prescott National Forest due to the unusually warm and dry fall and winter that we've been experiencing. The Civic Enhancement Committee has recommended acceptance of the donation of 3 horse sculptures from the artist Jean Galazan. In accordance with the city's art donation policy, the 60-day public comment period is now open for citizens to provide their feedback regarding the proposed donation. Additional details regarding the city's policy, proposed donation, and a link to the comment form can be found on the city website. We hope to hear from as many of you as possible regarding this donation. Following this 60-day public comment period, this item will be before Council for final consideration in February. Following FAA recommendations, the Prescott City Council will consider and possibly adopt new fees and charges for the Prescott Regional Airport Schedule B and a new Schedule C at its regularly scheduled City Council meeting next week on January 14, 2025 at 3 p.m. The new fees and charges will become effective February 14, 2025 if the Council agrees to adopt the new and increased fees. The proposed schedules and written reports supporting the proposed fees and charges is available on the City of Prescott's website. The City of Prescott transfer station can no longer accept televisions as a form of electronic recycling. Our vendor for electronic recycling is no longer accepting them. Please consider donating your old TV or perhaps taking it to a resale vendor. The City Council will not be meeting until next week, Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. There are several City Committee meetings this week. On Tuesday, January 7th, the City Council Subcommittee on Water Issues will meet at 9:30 a.m. here in the City Council chambers. The Mayor's Veterans Commission will meet on Wednesday, January 8th at 9 a.m. in the Grace Parks Activities Center on Gurley Street. The Workforce Housing Committee meets at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, January 8th in Council Chambers. Planning and Zoning meets at 9 a.m. on Thursday, January 9th in Council Chambers as well. And finally, the Subcommittee on Appointments meets Thursday, January 9th at 11:30 in the Council Conference Room. Speaking of boards, commissions, and committees, we're seeking new applications for multiple committees as we enter 2025. Look on the city website for the list of openings. Applications must be submitted to the city by 5 p.m. on Friday, January 31st, 2025. Serving on a board, commission, or committee is a great way to get involved in the city of Prescott, and I encourage you to consider these opportunities. I'm Mayor Phil Good, and I'll update you again next week. Thanks for watching, and I wish you a happy, healthy, safe new year.